Yo, I'm deep in the day, X chasing that glow. Moonbag dreams, watch my tokens all grow. Gas fees.
Oh my God. Let's go.
Yeah.
Light
What's the
stream is
ticker?
up.
Yeah. What's the ticker? Where's it at? Yeah. What is the ticker? Where's it at? I got crypto in the bag, send the CA in the chat. Gonna ape another fact. Got a runner on the map, so line of sniping like a gat. And the SOE is moving quickly. I'm gonna squeeze them where they at. I'm trying to bring the meme coins back. 1,000x is gonna land. I got he chilling in the back, and the gas fees are gonna slap. Where's the ticker? Where's it at?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. 7th of July, 7-7. And we need just one more 7. We all should be so lucky. Good morning, Dick.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, good. Great to see the whole crew coming through. What's up? Good morning to
Yeah.
everybody for joining us today. Some action in the trenches today. If you haven't seen the gemstone reward chart is looking crazy, and the Style X chart, we're almost bonded at 85%.
Nice, nice. Good job, you guys. Good job for toughing it out. Yep, welcome everybody on YouTube and welcome everybody on X. If you're watching with us, right, let's wait for some more people to enter the room and let's just go over the market for a little bit. So this morning I was kind of telling the 108 for a bounce up, right? We're close to that 108. Good enough. We are just like, we are wicking under that trend line constantly. I wanted us to hop over and then move sideways down with it to test some support because we fell through it quite a bit. So we're looking like we haven't calmed down just yet, right? So not much volume, but significantly more and more to the downside, of course, than yesterday. So yeah, we haven't calmed down yet, but meanwhile, XRP is ripping. XRP always like moves against the market.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. XRP is doing a freaking pump like nothing else. Yeah, we see a nice entry on that Estate X token, right? Utility there, no meme coins, no, just clear, straight up blue chip utility. My portfolio is going to be geared more towards this. No more buying crap, right? I may leave a moon back here and there, but I'm seeing it, the charts, and I'm gonna be all doubling down
Did you say
on the blue chips.
no more buying, like no more additions to your portfolio, no more
Yeah,
diversification?
no more anything sub 100
Yeah.
mil, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you get too many I was telling you how my cat had kittens, how there's 4 little kittens, and I feel
Yeah.
like monitoring like your if you have tokens in the trenches, it's like trying to take care of a bunch of little kittens that are like on the loose. You know what I mean? You have to like watch
Yes.
them all the time to make sure, do I need to sell? Do I need to change my position? Do I need to
Well,
rotate
I
out?
am gonna want these little kittens crawling, but just not yet, right? Because
Yeah.
the blue chips are pumping harder with Bitcoin in a more secure way. And so that's the first waves are there, right? And then the rest of it will trickle down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking when Bitcoin does another high, we are going to get some relief on the market, or at least we're going to pump with Bitcoin because the DOM is just so high. And then the biggest bags for me are in my blue chip, just to risk manage, right? And so yeah, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, market looking good for two. I'm expecting some pumps tomorrow if we have calmed down. If not, then for sure on Wednesday. some uppies there. Yes,
Oh,
of
I
course.
haven't even. Oh, I don't mean to
Yeah.
interrupt. I was gonna say we
No,
didn't
go.
look at Sui though, or maybe you
Yes.
did. But Sui, it's like one of those things that it's been moving so sideways. Part of me wants to, join a liquidity pool. I'm not sure which
Yeah.
one I would want to. I mean, I do have the fart pool or fart pool. I have the fart coin
Fart
one.
pool.
Yeah, well, I've
Fart
been getting
pool.
like $3 a day from the fart coin liquidity pool, which okay, that's like not a lot of money, but
No, but
I'm not
it's not a lot of
selling.
volume,
Yeah, but
right?
I'm not.
There's not a lot of
Yeah,
volume either. So
but to
if you
get
can,
$20 and I didn't have to sell any of my position, like I was just kind of testing how the liquidity pool works, like to see how
hmm
much I can actually yield from it, like with like a small amount. Like I think I started with like $300 in the liquidity pool just to see like, okay, well I actually return a yield off of this, and
yeah,
I'm actually getting like, I've earned like whatever that is, like three no, it would be like 7 sui in the last like week or something like
yeah,
that. So it's like it's not a ton of money, but to
no,
be getting $80 a month or whatever for a $300 initial investment, and I'm not having to even sell or do anything. That
yes.
if some people are looking for shit like that, so to me, I'm like, dude, this is actually like a really
In a
cool.
bear market, and
Hmm.
if you have big bags, this is what you're looking
Yeah,
for, right?
yeah.
Because in the bear market, so volatile up and down. How about just sit back and you do it with 3
Yeah,
300, but I
right,
do these things with 5,000, and you
right.
just have to. I mean,
And then you
it
can get
is just
hundreds
money
per
coming in.
day because I could be getting $200 a day if I,
Yeah.
100x my
Yeah, well, not
initial.
maybe not so much on a highly volatile token like this.
Right,
I wouldn't
right.
do it, right?
Price
With that
impact.
amount,
Yeah,
right?
right.
I would go look more for a layer one pool or something, or maybe Pepe token, like a blue
Or
chip, big.
XRP, XRP Sui would
Yeah,
be a good one.
yeah, something like that, right? So go ahead and look into it. I mean, it's such
Mm,
a good passive income.
yeah.
When you know what you're doing. So please do your research on that. So yeah, Sui is moving decisively on the chart, breaking two key levels with rising momentum, signaling a shift in sentiment and renewed bullish interest. With volume picking up and structure turning clean, Sui should be setting the stage for a move, right?
Hmm.
Um,
It's so
so
the chart looks
yep,
like comically like it's funny watching the sentiment on Twitter of everyone that's just like, yeah, sui sui sui, and the chart, it's like you see the same thing with XRP too, like very bullish sentiment, strong
yes.
army of community, and for whatever reason it like can't break the $3 mark, and
No,
XRP
because
is the
Bitcoin,
same. Yeah.
the dominance is over 65% still.
Right, right, right.
So
Yeah.
that with that have these are not going to be allowed to fly unless we get some super bullish thing going on like it did last year, where Sui was breaking out, the whole market was red, and Sui was constantly pumping 10% every day in the green. And so people FOMOed in on that, right? It kind of got attention from that, and it was front running Bitcoin. I want you to put the Sui, if you're looking at the chart on TradingView, I want you to put Sui on the 3 hour
Mm-hmm.
and see this massive bullish divergence coming in. So it is
The,
coiling,
the
it is
upward trend.
boiling. On the RSI, we see it
Hmm.
go up while the price is sideways, and this is called a bullish divergence, right? So yeah, it is cooling
Oh,
down.
I see what you're saying. Uh huh.
Yes, so chart will follow. I am absolutely positive here. I do
Wow.
not know
Okay.
when it will do it,
Yeah.
possibly when Bitcoin is doing something, or whether that's going to
September.
be tomorrow or the day after, but I'm for sure seeing some puppy coming there, right?
Right.
Especially the 3 hour and that 4 hour, I like to look at for Sui. The daily is not giving me a whole lot on Sui because it's
Mm.
a young chart.
Mm-hmm.
So that daily is good for looking like massive resistance over time and looking at buy zones over time, but I'm not expecting these buy zones to come in tomorrow, right? So if I had buy zones on there, I clearly had some buy zones, and it took 3, 4, 5 weeks to get there, right? And that's just because of that daily. But I do not see any on the daily coming through as far as signals for shorter term pumps. So, fourth and 3 hour are my go tos, and then on the 3 hour we see this a massive bullish divergence coming in. I would not be surprised if that one starts to rip. Yeah, yes, that estate X coin is boiling too. So keep an eye
Mm.
on that one.
Okay.
That came right back into my buy zone again. I
Uh
told you
huh.
guys 16, 15 would be great buy zone there.
Yeah.
And so it came back into my zone, and guess what? It got a pump from there, right? It's
Wow.
rejecting that floor. So
So it's at
let's yeah.
0.16,
Yep.
testing the 0.17 level.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the wick went down to 15. So I got some on the wick, but I got most on the 16 price here, which I'm fine with, even if it dunks 5% from. I don't care. This is the buy zone, and we're sticking with it. And so yeah, we just wait for Bitcoin to do it all again. But we kind of lost that trend line, again. I'm like, how many times do we need to go and retest that one?
Oh, 1.8, that trend line.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, you see it. It like lived in that area for a while.
yeah.
It seemed like yeah, and so but yeah, so when it rips though, it's gonna be like if you look at the leg up that it had.
Nah, it has
Yeah,
that. When I mean the top trend line,
yeah,
it's that descending how do you say structure it's making, right?
uh huh.
So the channel, that descending channel it's in, and
Oh,
it has an upper line and it has a middle line and a lower line, right?
yeah,
So if you draw on your channel,
uh
you
huh.
can clearly see that we have a hard time getting above that upper line on the channel. The bulls want to, they are defending that 107 108 floor like nothing else. But we kind of need to hold above 180 or above 180. Is that the future talking?
Hmm.
I mean 108, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
need to hold above 108, and we just have a hard time doing that. And so it causes these wicks that wick through that trend line, looking for support. And the bulls are buying, sure, but it might not be enough, right? Bears there are very strong, trying to suppress price. And so, if we're not going to make it, our first little thing that we possibly would want to look for, the strongest floor, would be that 105.8, right? 105.6, sorry. Um, yep, that is then another one that we go to. But if we move sideways in there, that price will just squeeze more and more. And then when we break out, then if we're looking to break out in that zone, we're looking at the end of July, 20 July to the 23rd of July, right? Looking to break out if we move down. So if we lose the floor here, then I'm not seeing another breakout. If we're still bullish, I'm not seeing another breakout until July and start getting ready for another breakout there. End of July 23,
Mm.
2023. I can pretty much tell the time zones here. So that is going to be a thing between 20 and the 6th of August. That is where that move is then coming in for if we cannot do it right now, then that is the moment that we are going to make it happen.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then we have that lower line on 102, and then the bottom would be somewhere around that 95, 96, right? That's the bottom of the channel. We don't know if it wants to go there. I don't see that it necessarily, has to go there, but Bitcoin can. If we flip bearish for some reason, we definitely can. But I want you to put your head on for some longs, especially watch that freaking SAE token if you want to do some longs, right?
Hmm.
SAE has a really good setup for a trade here. Look on the
I
daily.
haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
Is that 30 cents still, or did it pull? It had to have
No,
pulled
it's
back a
under
little bit.
25. It
25.
pulled back
Damn.
a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
look, the RSI is on the floor, ready to go and cross up on that daily. Just maybe for a trade looking Wednesday, Thursday. So looking at some charts that are telling me like, right, you can long here somewhere Wednesday, Thursday. That means that I have faith that Bitcoin is going to make a move then too, right? I mean, that will point. It's all pointing in the direction of Bitcoin wanting to make that move. So I am not scared at all here for Bitcoin. I think we're seeing a 70% that we can actually regain that ground. But yeah, there's always that there's a scenario for ever not, right? And then it's that 105.6 comes into play again, and that will be some support there. There will be strong support there, right? So the daily is cooling down, and we kind of need that for Bitcoin. You kind of need that daily to be a little bit more, relaxed a little bit before. a big rip. So the more it calms down that RSI on the daily, especially on that weekly, the more rubber band we have to make bigger rips. So let's say we would actually the stochastic RSI is golden crossing or crossing up. I shouldn't say golden cross because we're not in oversold conditions. But yeah, so I think we're gonna do some pumpies, but it's on the weekly, so that could be anywhere. Like I said, the 20th of July. So there could be a scenario that we go to move down to 105, surely, slowly, right, and then do all of that bigger pumps at the end. That could be a scenario. The more bullish scenario would, of course, be just hold this trend line, move up from there. And so, but for the daily to calm down in a little bit on that stochastic is giving us more because if we calculate a pump from here, we might go to 115. But if we can get that RSI, hold this floor and get that RSI in oversold conditions, then we have much more pull, much more momentum, and then we can actually overshoot that and go to maybe 120, right? But yeah, that's kind of what we want. We want that daily to give it as at least some room uh, to be bullish like that. But yeah, let's move on to some projects. I guess you want to say something about this Stylex. Stylex, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me up.
What's up, dude?
Oh,
Good to
God,
see you.
thanks. Yeah, yeah. Good to talk to you, man. Last night was crazy. We were down bad for a few, and then we just held out day five, day six, and we get pumped back up to 30K. So we're holding strong.
It's so sick. It's so cool to
You know.
see. I don't even know where to start with this, but yeah, dude, we've had quite a week, and we've been talking behind the scenes, kind of about like how to navigate the difficulties that we were facing in the beginning with trying to gain some traction here, and so we kind of spitballed some ideas, tried some things out about how to kind of like introduce and showcase this technology to some communities, and the response has been awesome. People have been really loving it and using it, and we've been seeing it on the timeline. It's so cool to see it. And now we're seeing that reflecting in the chart. So very bullish on this. I'm so excited. Let's
Yeah,
go.
it's been amazing. I want to say thank you to Tick, Aubrey, and Trelana for supporting the project so hard. Tick with the gem play to get on board the gem community and get them involved, and having everybody looking good in their gem PFPs was
Mm-hmm.
amazing. That was so smart. Aubrey's been rating so hard,
Yeah.
and this has been a tough journey. So there's been 1,000 times in the past weekend that I wanted to quit, and if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't still be here. So thank you.
Dude, that's what makes
That's the
me.
power of community right there, right? You cannot be holding something, expect just one person to do all of that work, you guys. If it is a community driven token or a sentiment driven token, you got to get in there. You got to get in the grind and get your hands dirty a little bit, right? And if everybody just do like 3 shills a day under somebody else's post, I mean, come on, what's 3 shills a day? And then support each other, right? And in doing that, like each other's post, hype it up a little bit. It keeps everybody's account safe if you're only doing three, so no one is on the forefront getting wrecked, right? And so if everybody can do just three, I mean, how crazy would that be already? That's an enormous help. And this, if there's 50 people, just a community, or even 20, you're doing three, that's 60 advertisements a day. If a project needs to pay for that, that's worth like a grand and a half right there, right? So you can save marketing money by a grand and a half just as everybody just do three little shields a day. I mean, what is that is
And it's
absolutely.
even more valuable when they're like real organic. Like
Oh
it's almost
yeah,
more valuable than
definitely.
what I would spend
Yes,
$1,500 on. Like these are
absolutely.
real people. They aren't, it's not some farming team. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. No,
Exactly.
totally.
Makes such difference.
And also, when you're a little bit bearish on the day, don't go into the TG and be bearish in there, right? If you cannot be bullish in the TG, stay away.
yeah, actually, I
Big
took your
facts.
advice and I kicked somebody for being when marketing, and then
Yeah, bro.
apparently they had a
No,
couple of friends in there that weren't happy. But you got to do it. You're right.
the vibe is what needs to happen and needs to be protected. Bullish vibes only. And if even if you're part of the community, you're not feeling it that day, don't be a douche, right? Don't go into that TG and be like, I'm kind of feeling. No, because you're wrecking the vibes,
Big
and
facts.
you're wrecking
Yeah.
everybody else's vibes too with your
Bro,
right.
yeah, I got some DMs from one of the dudes. I don't know
Oh,
if it's the same
ice.
dude that was
Yeah.
trying to get you to do marketing, but he was hitting me up for something, and he was telling me about how you're greedy. He's like, yeah, Dev is greedy and self-centered, and he won't even pay. He won't even pay me to raid. He's like, he doesn't even paying for raiding
No,
24/7, and it's like,
no,
what the heck? Like, dude, I was just caught so off guard, like thinking, like, is this
Damn,
really
that's
the way you think the
crazy.
world works like
this will
this? Like,
happen.
what?
Yes,
You
this will
insane?
happen, and that's why you do not give these people a chance from the get-go. If you spot
Yeah.
somebody like that in the TG, you just gotta.
Honestly, that was
Mm.
the dude who convinced me to pay Dex at 15K because he was like, "Oh, I'll
Oh
get you this
man,
listing," and I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll do it,
bro.
whatever."
Oh,
I'm okay.
And
That was a pitfall. I see. Cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, you
Well,
live and you learn.
this is their spiel, right? Because either they're salty because they sold at a loss and they're at about it, or they sold it and they want to swing again, right? And they want to swing again with a lower price. So they're going to be in other people's DMs. They will go to the Telegram, go to community, and just DM them like, "Hey, what do you think? I think Dev should have done this. I don't think he's plugged in. I don't
Right.
think Dev
and I have
has
so many
done
people
much."
like, "Oh, lock your tokens," and I'm like, "No, like,
Yeah.
maybe and eventually, but like, there are bills to pay. Like, this isn't a free app,
Yeah,
so."
Yes.
yeah, right.
But people are
Get with
delusional.
it, and as long as you as a founder are transparent in what you're doing, other people will catch on, right? But there are always going to be people who basically they should run their own show if they start to be in a
Exactly.
teaching like that,
Bro,
right?
that's
It's
the
like
Yeah,
if
worst.
you're
if
all
you got all
taker.
the answers, why aren't you doing
Yeah,
it? Why are you doing
Mm-hmm.
it better than me? Why am I not getting smoked by you right now?
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or they just want to sit back and be like pump my bag, right? And not
Exactly,
do
dude.
anything. So yeah,
Bro. Or get
yeah.
paid to help you rate. It's like, dude, if you have conviction about the coin and you're holding a bag, then pump it. Then you should want to rate it yourself. There's incentive
Yes.
for you to pump the coin. So what are you
Yeah,
thinking
like this is
that you?
decentralized. It's not.
Yes. Oh man, dude.
Exactly.
So
That's what it's about. But these, yeah, and these rating teams are bearish AF because anybody who knows how it works with the algorithm of X, when you get low quality engagement under a post, you and your account will be deboosted because of it. And these guys, they do not have blue check marks, right? And if they do, they just leave very low quality answers. It's all let's fucking go to the moon, right? It's fake. It looks fake. It's not real, and it deboosts even if they're rating under a post from main. You're deboosting the main account, which then influence your views for other people to see. So these rating teams are going to cost you money in the end, right? So and they asking for like 150 or $200 a day to do that, and I'm just like, yeah, no, right? Everybody put one shill out, and we got it covered, right?
Yeah, and like
yeah.
I don't want fake engagement. Like I want. If people don't believe, then I don't want them to be in the project. I want a real community. I don't want to be standing on a bunch of fake
Right,
people.
dude.
So
Yeah. And
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
hmm Great point.
Yeah, but that is what's going down always. So I've seen it too many times over, and
Yeah.
it's disgusting. Especially if they're gonna go into the DMs of other people, right, and try to have
It's
them be bearish and
shitty. Yeah.
well, it
yeah,
happens. It happens a lot, and sometimes they want these like they want a better entry again, and so they're gonna fut the shit out of it, and then flip bull again, right? And
hmm
so you can pump their bag from the bottom up again, yeah, and do that all over again. And these people are like that, right?
and
They
never
know,
sell, never take profit for yourself. Just pump their bag.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
exactly. It's oh my god, so crazy. It's delusional.
yeah,
It's so
yeah,
flipped out. It's
Yeah,
and it
no, it's crazy.
really requires like a very like weak understanding of how any of this works to be thinking that
Yeah,
way. This
yeah.
sense of
And you're gonna
entitlement
get
is
them.
crazy.
These people are gonna be a lot in your TGs when you're low cap
totally.
because
Yeah,
that's
I
where
sent
they
that
can.
dude a
Yeah.
bunch of messages asking him to change his PFP too, because I was like, it's kind of stuff that you're using the same one and you're not bringing
Bro,
it across.
that sussed
And
me
I
out.
made
I
him a
was
bunch of pictures, and I'm like, why are you like? I sent him pictures to use, and he was like, nah.
but he wanted to
Mm.
rock the one that he could be mistaken for you, mistaken for Dev.
Exactly.
Like, bro,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so
Exactly.
sus. Like, yeah, it leaves you. It's very unsettling that type of behavior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because what are you trying to get at, dude? It was weird. I Swift Chain. That was the dude. Yeah, and he was rocking the same PFP as you. I was
Uh,
like, who the hell
yeah,
is
I
this
gave him
guy?
mod in TG to be able to raid too, and then I saw him like trying to mess around with some admin commands. I deleted him so fast.
Whoa,
Um,
crazy. He's just a
yeah, like
scammer. Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, so fuck that guy. But on a
Oh,
good note, I also wanted to say Banksy has been amazing.
Banksy's
Didn't I?
rad, dude.
He didn't ask for anything. He gave me so much advice that was like really good advice, and like he was legitimately like from a good place trying to help. So I did
Yeah,
toss him 1%, but he was not. He didn't ask for anything.
that's awesome,
And then he's been going so hard. He's brought in a bunch of people.
bro. Yes.
So that was amazing. So Banksy Degen. I don't know if he's considered a KOL, but I think so, kind of. Um, Definitely trustworthy in my book so
Yeah,
far.
he'd be considered a KOL for sure. Um,
Um, but I actually had a couple of other projects that I wanted to get your thoughts on, Wilder, if that's cool.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
sure.
Shoot, I love
And look, you
this.
guys, I
Yes.
just want to mention again, right, for when I hear the word KOL, look, not all of them are bad at
Mm-hmm.
all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are bad, and we kind of ignore this. There are some people who actually will, stick with the agreement and however that is made and stick to it, right? Instead of dunking out of nowhere. There are some people with massive influence who are actually sticking with the plan. So cut everybody slack. Everybody wants to make some bread and they do it in this way. And obviously, there's a market for it, so why shouldn't they? But, there is a quality difference, but they're good ones too. So, yeah, let's just clear that up. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Stylus.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
hey, Ed
Okay.
Stylex, right before
Okay.
you start, I wanted to let you know also, dude, the token should be listed on the landing page for the website, like near the top, like with the CA token live on Solana, like some sort of indicator. Because when you go on the Stylex PFP website, if I'm not mistaken, there's nothing that indicates that there's a token at all. Yeah, on the main. Yeah, so I think that that would be
Yeah, there's the
huge.
buy on deck screener or whatever. I don't forget what it says, but yeah, the copy should be more clear.
Let me see. Yeah, it's when you go on the page. Oh, I see. Buy Style X. Yeah, there's a green button that kind of blends in that almost looks
Oh, I
like.
guess it's not. You have to click sign in first to get there. I guess that
Yeah,
should be on the
yeah. On
homepage.
the landing page, I would put on the main landing page
Yeah,
when you
I
go to
haven't
the.
seen the landing page since I made the app, so I didn't
Yeah,
even think of that.
yeah. I
So
just
good
realized
call.
it today when I went on it. I was like, it would be nice if there was something that like kind
Uh,
of emphasized the token. So sorry to cut you
yeah,
off.
no, that messaging should be way clearer.
Yeah. Cool.
Um,
But yeah, what do you got for
but
us?
yeah, so there's two tokens that I want to hear about. The first one being H bar. I was a big H bar bull for a long time.
Same,
That's
yeah.
where I made most of my money in crypto. And then, uh, I think Sui is kind of taking its place because it has, as good or better performance. And it seems like the key differentiator there is um, the coding language. Um,
Yes, the
but
coding language also community, right? HBAR has a very tight knit community. They are also not inclined to go to other chains. HBAR has
Maxis.
fantastic community, great NFT community as well. I've been in HBAR spaces a lot. I know a lot of people from HBAR. They are just a little bit set in the HBAR, right? It's kind of cemented. And we all have there are chains that are absolutely only maxis there and will never go to another chain. And that you see that on some chains, you see it more than on others. I mean, Solana, nobody's really loyal to Solana. If shit starts to pump on Tron, you see half of Solana is like, oh, well, it's Degen over there, right? Like last year in September. But the loyals on ETH, HBAR, Cardano, these are very high loyals, right? Sui hasn't got there yet. You see, the Sui, you have a hardcore group that grows over time, yes, but we see everybody abandoning their bags, especially in the meme sections or even in the utility when Sui is down. It's like that, and that is because Sui is still a very young chain, so it has to foster some of that trust. And then if you compare it to HBAR, they built that already. They're there, right? It is trustworthy, even though it might not be technology wise, not be the latest thing. It's going to take a long time for people not to be bullish anymore on HBAR, especially their hardcore big community, right? Has a big community. So yeah.
So would you say bullish or bearish on H bar long term, like
Um,
10-year plan?
well, for different things, right? So NFTs on H bar, yes, bullish, right? They have such a big NFT community that knows exactly what to do with the NFTs as well. It's crazy. Right, and there was actually like a girl that was 12 years old who made like the sad cats, and they were in an age bar space, and she was like, I made this because everybody feels sad sometimes, and she was struggling. She was 12 years old, but very honest and struggling, and she had some anxiety and some depression symptoms, and so she started to make these NFTs. Man, that room went crazy. Crazy. She minted out like 5,000 NFTs, with that H bar community. That is powerful, right? Not every
That's an
chain.
awesome story. I love that.
Yes, sad cats on H bar, but yeah, right. And that was like 2 years ago or something like that. But they have their own spaces, and they're so tight knit that a girl that's 12-year old can come into that space, and everybody is minting. And that's loyalty, right? That you cannot, right? Because if you try and do that on Ethereum, yeah. So try and even do that on Sui. Some will mint, of course, but not a mint out like that. Everybody was just tag this one needs to come in here and buy, and tag this one, right? So they all just huddle together strong over there. So I think for NFTs, H bar is going to be perfect. Yeah, long term. Yeah, there is going to be. I am going to hold up blockchains for scrutiny here because I'm not quite sure what H bar wants to do and fill in maybe some niche that chain can be used, right? So and I kind of with HBAR I'm getting multiple things but not really a focus. It's that could be just me. I had the same around Arbitrum for a long time too. Right, Aptos is kind of like they are not giving me a clear sign of, oh, that's where that's going, right? I get that more from Sui, more than any other chain. I get it from Sui. So he's very clear. The team is very clear with this, right? They are vocal, first of all. They're vocal in the Discord. They're vocal on X. And, they do AMAs and stuff all the time too, still, after all this time. And they are very clear in their language on what they want to achieve, and it just gradually building towards it, right? And so they are fostering that building of trust there in this way too. But it's very clear what Sui wants to do, what is and I do not get that from other chains at all much. Tron is kind of like Justin, even though you could hate him, right, for a lot of stuff, and he gets a lot of hate for a lot of stuff, but he is clear, right? And I can respect the clarity around where you want to go with the chain.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good take. Yeah, I used to really like Tron back in the day. I don't hold any right now, but uh,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
it's
don't feel like H bar has a clear path? It seems like to me that they're all focused on enterprise, then they don't
Yeah.
really do too much community.
Yes,
But
they don't do too much community, but it's a, yeah, they are the enterprise, but it's kind of like, yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I lost some bullishness on H bar when I saw some new things coming out. Right?
yeah,
yeah,
that's kind of
same.
how I
So
felt too. It's like as more they just it's like H bar seemed very promising when I first discovered it, and damn, when you look at the chart too, it's like you can see, damn, that was crazy. That's right around the time where I
yeah.
think it fell onto my radar in November. Yeah, around Thanksgiving of last year. That thing it was running like incredibly, but
Well, you know what? Adira has, it has traction because of, like I said, longevity, and longevity is
mhm.
is is also important in this space, and especially if they want to move to that finance. Well, Sui is eyeing a lot of institutional money too, by and large, right? And they are actually being recognized as an American token. They are being recognized as they are being eyeballed for the next XRP uh, thing, right? With institutional money, and there's this talks around ETFs around SUI and stuff. So it's for a young token to get that much attention. I think is something. And yeah, I don't know. It is, of course, it has these big names, and it does. They have that council or something like that, and I know there's Google in there, IBM, right? I think even like what's that airplane?
Boeing, yeah.
Boeing, yeah, right. So they do have. I'm not. It's not going to go away.
Yeah, they were giving too big to fail vibes, but
Yeah, it's not going away, and they are gonna that. But that Byzantine vault thing that they got going on, others have this too. It's kind of like, you know, technology is catching up on them, and I like to see then if I should be bullish on Nadira. Is like, all right, give me direction here. What are you guys gonna do in answer to all of this, right? How are you gonna stay relevant? And then instead of being vague about it, like, yes, we are, you know, of course, this finance and stuff, and but I miss a little bit of transparency there, a little bit of a game plan moving forward, at least in bigger lines, right? I know that they cannot get down with the nitty gritty, but yeah, you know. So, but NFTs and gaming for Hedera is still a thing. So, gaming is still the number two narrative. But also on gaming, I see Sui having going way further, right? A father, how do you say? Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, and like the one thing you can do, like I went on to Grok and I just said, "What's the sentiment on H bar today?"
Mm.
Because Grok can kind of fetch data from Twitter, and it says that it's like describing with one user describing H bar's volume as pathetic at 180 million in a 24-hour period. I thought that was pretty remarkable that it used the Grok gave me quote pathetic as describing the volume of H bar at 180 million.
That's funny.
Additionally, a recent web source from June 27th of 2025 indicates bearish pressure on H bar with a long short ratio of 0.93 in the futures market, reflecting more traders betting on a price decline. Overall,
Yeah,
well,
but
yeah,
that's today, right?
yeah,
And
this is
and
today.
and yeah, or the sentiment in this moment
Mm-hmm.
spanning. And not many people are bullish on their altcoins in this moment because the dominance is high. And so basically all even Hedera will be undervalued, right? So just wait for that to happen. It's just that, yeah, I asked the question with my investments is like, okay, what's my upside potential long term?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I need to cut something loose, right? I'm not going to say that's H bar. I'm not holding H bar anymore in my portfolio, anyways. But if I had, I hold them up to scrutiny just as I hold the rest up to scrutiny, right? So also I'm looking very much into, okay, where's the outflow from Ethereum is going to be an important thing, you guys. That's just an important thing for all season, and any relief anytime that Bitcoin dominance will drop a little. We're looking at ETH, and then the outflow from ETH will pump the other alts, right, the layer ones. uh, and so, I mean, you cannot go around the fact that Sui is getting 40 in 2024. Sui got 49% of the outflow of ETH. That's almost half. And if you're looking at the transactions, it's catching up on Ethereum. It's only 200 million less transactions than on Ethereum. That is crazy. And some people may say, like, yeah, but volume. Yeah, but you also got to look at the transactions because it means that there is interest in using this blockchain, and that, how do you say that?
yeah, because you use drives long term demand, right? So
Exactly. Well, yes, that's what it is. So it's inevitable that the chart is going to follow that the bullish sentiment that you see in these transactions. That chain is being heavily used. And then if you see the chart and you see it down and no volume, just simply means we're undervalued here by a lot, right? Uh, so, so yeah, there's that. But when it pumps, it gets the outflow from Ethereum by 49% consistently over 24, and I think it's very close to 45% over 25, you guys. So I mean, with only base coming in second to that, and base is a layer two, right? Base is a layer two, and of course rubs shoulders with Ethereum. So yeah, there's that. But that doesn't mean that we should not be bullish on other chains at all, right? NFTs are great on HBAR. Gaming is a thing on HBAR as well, that they're heavy, especially the community that is around is like cemented almost. And so HBAR is not going anywhere, but it's not in my portfolio because I think they're better. And I like to be on the ones that are going to be possibly the next Solana.
hell yeah, yeah, I think that's a great take. That's kind of where my head was at too, and thank you for confirming that.
Yeah.
And then
We cannot go around these numbers, my guy. I mean, tell me, right? What should we look at to be not bullish on this? There's no metric here that I'm catching on that tells me that I should not.
yeah, yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah.
And then I have not one more token if that's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Uh, so it's I actually learned about this on a gem space yesterday. I wish I had more time to do research first, but it's cubic. It's a useful proof of work. L1 under 200 million. Have you heard of this?
Yes. Well, actually, it's on my radar. Yes, because anything like that, right? Is for me. These are anything that you can get your hands on sub 1 billion.
Yeah, layer one's under a billion.
Yeah,
Like if they're real,
it's
that's
like a no
that's
brainer.
where
Yeah.
that's generational wealth potential.
Yeah.
If it fulfills what it says. So,
Yeah, and if
uh,
they're having something really, really, I have it on my watch list here to or in my notes to look up. The same with some others that are in testnet right now, and to look at some stuff. But right, I just gotta. I am really bullish on the ones that find their niche and really expanding on that. Right?
yeah. Do you know much about the UPOW or are there any other competition in that space?
No, no, not that I know.
All right, cool. I'm definitely gonna do a deep dive on that hopefully this week. And,
Yeah, let's do
report
a
back.
deep dive. Do a deep dive on it. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. I'll put it in my notes. Did I need to add so much stuff to my notes here? I'm seeing. I need to do a lot of research this week. I need to catch up on some stuff. There we go. I'll put that in there. Um, yep, a sticky note right here too. Let's combine those so it's easy. Right. All right. So yeah, no, for me, anything under, I would say even under 500 millis, you're getting a steal on a layer one. I don't even care, right? That is just that is such an easy 5x almost, like um, but also because it's young, you got to do it with a bag that makes sense to you, right? And not just stare yourself blind on an upside potential. Um, and then also, longevity. Maybe you want to dive into it more and more and more if you're a holder, just to see if you should add to your position or not, right? So if you're just going for the pumps, or if you're going for something that is very believable long term, and then wrap your head around that. So yeah, but yeah, it's together with, I have some other dark horses on here like Core Chain. Core Chain as one too that I'm looking at, like also crazy dark horse there. Also keep your eye on it. There's some things that are just gonna be bangers, right? Just because
Yeah,
they're
it's
so low
core
to the
chain,
play.
like CORE.
Yeah, Core Chain.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna add that to my list to do some research on
Yeah,
too.
just have a look at it, do some research, right? But it's such a dark horse. Sei is another dark horse, right? That well, it's kind of got noticed a lot more over the last few weeks, and I kind of felt that coming. That chart could have not been more down than it could, and then when it does, it's like it's no brain, almost no brainer trades there, right? So juicy trades, undervalued by a lot. And I know that, look, a lot of things are undervalued. Bit and Soar, right? Well, Bit and Soar is a little bit older. I got Bit and Soar at like $61.20. It was kind of like, I'm looking at it now. That was my average. And it's still holding $321 right now, right? And on the top, it was $777. I mean, these are, well, Tao is not a dark horse anymore. It used to be, but that is just for me then, when I look at the other dark horses that still need to do and run like that, right? That's crazy. Still bullish on Bittenstone nonetheless. I still have it in my portfolio. But, adding that, when you look at that tick, are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pull up Tao, Tao, Bittenstone. Yeah.
see.
And I
Right.
put it on a weekly chart. And then in the beginning is where I started buying, and then you can clearly see there is no indication for me except my research, looking at the market cap, seeing potential. There was nothing there in the beginning. Put it on a weekly. There was nothing there that could have given me any indication for such a steep climb. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Bitcoin started to make these moves and the dominance dropped a little, this one started hauling like nothing else and hasn't come down since. See? And so
Yeah.
when I'm buying, I'm always, when you see that chart, when you're buying something low cap in that area with either fantastic utility or a layer one, these are these dark horses, just like this one was. And there's no indication in the chart other than it tells you it's for what you know, it's undervalued. Also look at the market where the market is, right? If dominance is so high, that could be very well suppressing the charts, just like it does with any other chart, right? So I actually still have my TA from way back when on there. And just before that ugly breakout, I added again to my bag, right? And it kind of like a scary dip to $49. And that's where I got such a good average. It's kind of bought on the top there too. So I was like, yeah. And then boom, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, big candles all the way up to 770. I mean, that's crazy. These are 10x's, like boom, boom, right? And they
Wow.
do it so quickly too. So yeah, look at Sui. Sui never came back to 50 cents.
Yeah, low cap, high utility is where it's at. The
Yeah.
charts aren't gonna tell you anything. Like
No.
I wouldn't even like bother with TA on things that are super low like
Yeah.
that and like so
Exactly.
young. Like
Yeah.
age is definitely a big factor there
Yeah.
because you know it's just one press release, one software release from going to the stratosphere.
Absolutely. And you always see it when these things start launching. Of course, they probably did some airdrops or had a pre-sale, something. It does a pump, and you wait for that initial volatility just to bleed out, right? And then it will find a certain floor. And I am in that floor DCAing my ass off all the time with these things because, well, look at Real Estate X, right? That blockchain for real estate. Look at it. I mean, I was kind of telling everybody in this space too, like, hey, you guys, watch this. Wait for the floor. Wait for the floor here, and then go ahead, right? Wait for the floor. That floor went all the way up to 0.006. I added to my bag there. And then, like, just 3 days later, I was not expecting things to happen for another couple of 3 weeks, maybe, or something. But just 2 or 3 days later, that thing ripped all the way to, killed a zero, all the way up to zero point zero 0.01, right? And then its all time high being 0.029,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It ran
How much is six times six? That's
36.
a 6x for you, right?
Yeah.
Right within when that move, 23rd of June to the 30th of June. That was in a week. That thing pumped in a week, right?
Yeah.
So
And like
so
the six
yeah,
X doesn't sound as crazy coming from like meme coins, but like that's a 6X with relatively low downside. Like those things aren't gonna literally zero like a meme coin.
oh
Like you might go
no.
down 50%, but you are not gonna go down 99%,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's to risk manage your portfolio too, right? That's just the thing.
Like still high risk, but not meme coin high risk, but meme
No.
coin upside. Sorry, it was like fell over.
Yeah. I don't know. Tick, you're giving a lot
Yeah.
of background noise.
Oh, sorry. That's yeah. I apologize. Let me mute.
No problem. I don't know if you want to have that background noise shared.
My bad.
Percy, saying it for
That's
you.
funny.
But yeah, because the volatility from meme coins. Because don't get me wrong, and people were always like, where are these meme coins coming from? And it's kind of like this meme coins. There was especially with Pepe because Pepe was very much counterculture politically. That was the meme. Pepe was a meme 10 years before. I mean, it was with that whole 2008 crash, the financial banks, right, and everything. And then Pepe was like on 4chan and then Reddit at the time, like Pepe. And so Pepe was counterculture, all of that, right? And so when Pepe
Yeah.
became the crypto meme, it was very much pointing out the fact that at that moment in time was so much utility in crypto that was bullshit utility. And it kind of laid bare the whole hypocrisy around these smoke screens of utility. And
Mm.
everybody be, yeah, because it has utility. I'm an investor, right? They're kind of making fun of these people because, hey, you're in it for the money. Just like that meme, right? For Bitcoin, we're in it for the tech. And then wearing these gold chains and stuff, right?
Mhm.
I'm in it for the tech, right? That's a great meme because in the end, we all here to make some money, and we should not be, um, you know,
Shy about that. Pretend like
yeah,
it's something
yeah,
else.
try to hide that behind. No, I'm really in. With Bitcoin, I am very much more in the direction of look, I'm going to hodl that on for however long, and this is going to be my legacy, hopefully, right? I'm seeing that. I believe in that. I think it can do much more just based, on, but Bitcoin is the only one, right? The rest I'll hold up to scrutiny anytime because if they're negative for my bag, I'm not going to hodl on, right? I'm going to be very honest and be like, yeah, well, I got to make some money. And so these meme coins were kind of like, look, we can pump without utility. All it takes is belief. And this is true fundamentally. If nobody believed in Bitcoin, we never got here in the first place. Bitcoin would have been Bitcoin. So that is a kind of like what the thing is with the meme coins. But now that the market is so oversaturated with those, it's very hard to get to market caps where it can stabilize the price and it making sense for your portfolio from that perspective. So usually if I buy a moonbag in a meme token, I'm not expecting much there at all. I'm expecting something for my blue chips though, right? But when I leave a moonbag somewhere, I'm not expecting that to make any moves anytime soon. I'll just think, hey, it's on this chain. That ticker is bullish. Could be more bullish. Leave a moon bag. Get you on the pumps. And if I buy 10 and five won't do it, but these other five can 100x. So it doesn't. They don't all need to do it, right? So it's more like a spray and pray approach there a little bit,
Mm.
especially on Sui because I know these LPs will pump sky high, right?
Mhm.
Because Sui will do it. So but yeah, I'm not. No, the my biggest money makers are the blue chips. Yeah, and we can now say that Pepe is kind of a blue chip too at this market cap, right? Ridiculous. Also,
Yeah,
a lot of
totally.
gets a lot of Bitcoin outflow. So outflow, a lot of Bitcoin traders are trading Pepe. Yeah,
It's funny that you mentioned Pepe coming from 4chan because I got Bitcoin on 4chan at $4 is when I was
yeah,
buying Bitcoin.
yeah,
Wow.
Like
yeah.
maybe I should just start trolling 4chan for alpha.
4chan
Like, is
again.
that the
Yeah.
spot? Is it still is there still alpha on 4chan?
Look, Pepe. I'm having Pepe up for Pepe. Looks like it wants to rip. I'm not even lying. So much. I mean, look at that trend line. Jesus Christ, that's such a good one. Let's see on the fourth. All right, well, maybe wait later, but it's coming into such a price squeeze here. Yeah. But if Bitcoin is not going to do it, this is definitely a bull trap. So I'm not going to trade it unless I get a confirmation candle on that reversal because, these things look like a bull flag. Looks very bullish. But we gotta recognize that we're in a downtrend for Pepe, and just like the rest, because the dominance is so high. But when Bitcoin started pumping, that fucker will break out, right? Excuse my French.
Mm.
That's actually how I sit and talk when I do my trades. It's like, yeah, that one was fun. Let's go, right? And I need to be in it, so Dejan. But yeah, right. If Bitcoin makes the move, Pepe will make the move. Boom, opening along there is nice. And then we have that Pepe number two, which is strangely enough sitting so low cap, but these always kind of pump together. So when Pepe pumps hard, you see just a small delay, and then Pepe 2 gets traded because Pepe 2 came out, I think it was 6 weeks or 7 weeks, or maybe even closer up to Pepe did that big rip, right? Big news, everybody knew Pepe. And then straight after came Pepe 2. And Pepe 2 was launched with the narrative with if you missed Pepe 1, then here's your second chance.
Mhm.
And so that's that second chance narrative. And it's people are still bullish on it, really. And I don't give I did 4 months. Look, pull out the Pepe 2 chart on the daily.
Gotcha. Let me grab it.
I did 4 monster trades there. Yes. So yeah, it launched in July on 23, right? Everybody lost faith. Now I'm not gonna lie. There was some issues with the team there selling, right? Doing like they do. But then somehow out of nowhere, right? That was just part of some big holders needed to be out. And then it just ripped, and then it ripped even harder. See? And everybody on that bottom, anywhere between the 6th of August of 23 and that October rally that it did. And when I posted, like, oh, I'm buying more Pepe too, and it's like, this is a rug pull. You're not gonna buy a rug pull. I'm like, no, I'm a believer in this narrative. Let's go. Pepe 2 is a cool ticker, right? I wasn't even in the TG anymore listening to stuff. I was like, no, this narrative is gonna run. It was listed at the time on Big Cat and stuff. So I was like, yeah, this is just gonna do. But everybody was underneath going like, yeah, I should not buy it. This is no good. It's never gonna. It's died. It's never gonna stand up. And then look at that chart. Look at what it did in 24. And I was like, everybody was like, why are you buying? And then they said it again when it hit. In 24, I think it was in wintertime. Let me look at the chart. Yeah, in January, right? And then it got like two big listings, Qcoin and everything. Boom, and that thing just moved so hard that is like, let me measure that move from my long position there. That thing moved. It moved over. I mean, 919% from that floor, from the swing low, right? Crazy. I was just like, yep. That's just when you have Pepe and Pepe 2 on your watch list together, you can trade them against each other so good, right? So you can really see what's going on. You see that between these two tokens, there's some synergy there, so that people are trading in and out, and that's a thing. So low cap, but very much more low cap than Pepe's, right? So you get volatile moves there. Yeah. But yeah, these meme tokens, the floor is lava. People lose a lot of faith because it's a meme token and they, then want some utility to hang on to. But then here's the deal, there's a lot in crypto that quote unquote pretends to have utility. And that's just, like a little smoke screen. So in the end, for me, I buy a meme for the meme. If it's a good ticker, I'll get it. If it's on a chain that I like, I'll get it, right? I'm not expecting anything until the volatility comes in.
Hmm.
I think sometimes it's bearish when they want to make utility because you're now going to cater to people in the TG going like, yeah, we should have some utility. And it's like, well, go make it, right?
Right.
Yeah, you go make it yourself. Right? Go make us a bot, costs $120, and then it shuts up the people, right? But they want, if and that when you make utility, when you make like a game, that's going to be bullish for like 3 weeks, and then the people want something else built from you again, right? And at
True.
one point, yeah, and at one
Yeah,
point it's
unless the
like,
game's
fuckers, this
amazing.
is a meme token. Right? Just get with it. You should buy Bitcoin if you want grand utility. Buy Bitcoin,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? Or something else. Yeah, you buy a layer one.
There's any layer one, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, that's utility, right? And AI narrative, same thing. Right? Just because it's called AI, and I am bullish on Tarsai. Don't get me wrong, Tarsai, but it's bullshit AI utility, really, right? Tarsai out in Solana, look at that chart, man, ripping like. But because it's AI, it is gonna get traded because AI is a hell of a narrative. This bull run, and Solana is going to be a hell of a bullish chain. This will run. So it's kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, if you want to look up the utility, it's like, yeah, well, you kind of have like a meme or a image generator, an AI generator in your TG. That's about the biggest AI thing that they have.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
wait,
it's,
what's their market cap? I'm gonna project it on the Silex.
hold on, hold on.
Oh, for
Yeah, yeah.
Tars is
See
that?
that? Yeah. What Star is sitting on right now?
Geez, it's
It's in millions, that's for
69
sure.
mil.
Yeah, 69 mil.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. So these AI narratives, they will go, but what actual utility? Everybody is just like, yeah, I see utility. It's like, yes, sure, right? let's let's go with that. Yeah. I'm bullish on it
Mm-hmm.
anyway. But you see a lot of AI utility. And excuse me, Stylex, but you have something that's particular for your token, even, right? And to try to, because you're using it as a rating tool or to get exposure as well. So there's something to it. Don't see that happening with Tars AI, but that is just. I mean, yeah, right. That AI, there's going to be a lot of tokens out there, a lot of competition in AI because people want to have an AI token. And look at Bonk at what's being launched there with all the agents that you can use. And I mean, you're a lover of AI, so I assume that if things change in the AI world and picking up with, because it's ever changing too, right? That you can adjust and pivot to that. But a lot are so lazy they will not even do that. They will not even update the let's say they started out with Flux or something like that. No, they don't even upgrade to Clean, right? Or something. They just leave it at B because everybody's bullish on it anyway, and nobody really knows what that utility entails and how bullish or bearish it is. They don't care. They want the chart to pump. And that is the same sentiment that we kind of have in a meme token. It kind of lays that hypocrisy bare, right? Like, yeah, well, meme coin can do it too without utility. We'll just pretend there is utility, and then we're suddenly better. No, right? Not per se.
We do have some gemstone family up in the
Let's
crowd too. Does
go.
anyone want to come up on stage and
Yes,
give us a
let's hear it
shill?
from the gems.
Gem's been performing so well this week, and I'd really
Let's
like it
go.
if anyone wants to come up and talk. Thousand X. Oh, did he leave too? I wanted Thousand X. I invited him up on stage, but maybe he's at
Oh,
work. I wanted him to kind of give us an update about
oh,
how that
yeah,
project's going because it's been kind of just moving sideways as well. But so has
yeah.
everything. So I kind of wanted to give him an opportunity to,
Yeah, well,
um,
so has been everything on Sui. So when
yeah. So
Sui is
it's.
pumping
Mhm.
on Sui, then the tokens pump a little bit with, some more than others, but they pump a little bit with. And when Sui loses his floor, boom, they will lose the floor. It's like that, it's like Sui's big mommy, and the rest just does what mommy does.
Mhm.
And so the native token really, because that's a trust thing. That is a young chain, and that will happen. People lose faith straight away because they see Sui as a very new thing. I mean, how many people hopped on Solana? I didn't, for that reason too.
True.
You must not forget that degens and stuff is not even, you're not even 3% of crypto. Everybody else is buying, layer ones and layer twos, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Still, right? So meme tokens are just, I think right now is like at 3.2% of crypto is meme tokens. Well, we are on
Wow.
X thinking that it's really a big part. No, we're a village. Right? Meme tokens are,
Right.
we're our own village. Yeah. And so you see, just like with Solana last time, it took a little while. And then the chart was so young that when it did a big pump, it didn't hold the floor either. Fell through its floors because people are like, oh, that was the first and last pump here,
Mhm.
because they don't do research on what things are about, right? They don't get it. They just see, I need to swing trade and make some money, and then I cannot hodl this because it's, yeah, there hasn't been any trust. And Sui is doing a better job at it. That's why it's holding better floors over time, doing a better job at retaining community and bringing some education there, and that is really what you can see in the chart, holding good. But yeah, the tokens on Sui are just going to follow the native token, and of course they're lower cap, so yeah, things are there usually. When it reached 100K, you can get right back to 10K, just because Sui is not taking its floor and down, and that's just sentiment that drives the market. Vibes are everything. If we're not vibing with it, people lose patience. But patience is how you be successful in crypto. It's kind of the only way.
Hmm. Oh, let's see. So, did we get any requests to come up on stage,
No,
or?
I did not. I did
Hmm.
not. I invited people again. Hey, you guys, if you're here listening in this space, come up, have a talk or something that we are live streaming on YouTube and an X. So hello to everybody there watching the visuals as we speak about things here, right? But everybody's more than welcome to jump on stage. Yeah, Doginal doggies. Let's say we got to do a shill for those two later.
Yeah, and
We
then
have,
KVCA. I don't know if you know them. They have some. They've got the squid, the Ika squid, the walrus. Well,
yeah.
it looks like a seal, but it looks like a
I'm
sui
gonna add
phonetic.
somebody here to the speaker, and it's Mr. G.
Nice. Okay.
I do not know Mr. G. We're gonna get to know him. Mr. G, good morning or good evening. Mr. G, hi there.
Hey, good morning, good evening, good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon.
wherever you're coming from. Sorry, I had to take my
Yeah.
earbud out. I didn't want to sound echoey. How's everybody?
Yeah, we're doing great. We're doing great. I want to get to know about you.
Oh, me? I'm a former Series 7 broker. Been in finance for several decades. Coming out of education myself and getting back into here. But yeah, just love investing, and I do like trading. But those that are only relying on trading, they're probably going to drown. You got to have that financial literacy. So I love what you said about getting educated.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming up and sharing that then, right? Because yes, right, there is a difference between somebody who trades and somebody who is wearing the investor hat. And when you are an investor, and everybody comes into crypto because of the volatility, and you want fast moves or you want fast money, right? That's basically the incentive here. But you got to realize that, there's things out there that can do it. Yes, definitely, but it all plays out over time. And so, to invest then in utility is going to be a best bet, and to have a DCA strategy, a dollar cost strategy, to get there. And then when you have a dollar cost strategy for getting in, you should also have a dollar cost strategy for out, right, to exit. And that one you got to do a little differently and a little quicker than you do your DCAs ins, just be simply of the volatility. And so when people are looking at crypto and first looking at charts, they think that they can trade. Why? Because you can see very clearly in the history where it was, should have bought there. I see that dip, it's lower. I should have bought there and I should have sold. I can sell right up there. And that is all great until they start buying, and then suddenly the chart does not do what they want it to do.
Hmm.
Right. And then yeah, right. So uh that's where your DCA will be your best friend strategy, because a lot of tokens, a lot of projects, if you look at the charts over 2 3 period, they spend more time being on a certain floor in a range than they do when they pump. These pumps are usually maybe twice a year for the utility, and and they will then come back and find the floor again. And if you have a DCA strategy, it simply means you are buying more automatically on the floors than you are on the tops. And Bitcoin is a very good example, because even if you would have top blasted Bitcoin at its previous all-time high, you still be up 40% plus if you just had patience then, right?
Hmm.
So yeah. Yeah, mister, what are we thinking about that? What are we thinking about crypto?
Crypto is definitely here to stay. You can see with big companies like BlackRock and governments getting into it. But who's going to be the winner? That's tough to say. But obviously, Bitcoin is the leader right now. And as a former broker, I actually, there's no fundamental analysis with these cryptos per se, like you can analyze a company. So you really have to, just like you were just saying, rely on the technical chart pattern. But as a former FX trader, you got to understand what those patterns look like. You got to back test your own and then look farther back. You can't just look on a daily or a minute chart, right? You got to understand history. So, yeah, great stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, I love it. Although I do disagree that you cannot look at them as a business. I definitely see some blockchains coming out that have great utility, great things that they're doing. And so I kind of want to shield to you Estate X, right? It is going to be, it's in testnet right now. It's going to launch within the coming time. So position yourself. It's an awesome chart, by the way, to trade if you're a trader. Very young chart, very volatile. So if you know what you're doing, you're good there. But it is going to incorporate real estate into crypto. And they've been working on that for 5 years, eventually having to build their own blockchain. So it could be, aligned with all the guidelines and rules around real estate that we have in our laws, and that's different in every country. So they had to build something that could deal with that, and they couldn't find it anywhere in crypto yet. So they had to delay everything for 3 years with their plans to actually start building their own blockchain. A big name behind there is, Steve from Tether, bringing a lot of support to Estate X. And I think they did a great job at the launch. I think it's great that we should incorporate mortgages and real estate rentals and everything that goes along with that with crypto. That's going to be the next big market for crypto to tackle here, right? I also think it's going to take away some power of the banks when it comes to funding. And so, yeah, bullish on that. So check it out. What do you think? What do you think, Mister?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they've already been noted that they're going to be asked to utilize cryptocurrency as collateral backing, and yeah, the whole trend for those who don't have good credit is coming about. So you can have the buy here, pay here is adding more, so they can get balance in credit, and it looks good for the little guy. But again, I don't know if you've read that big beautiful bill. There's just a lot of hard things coming also for the lower income.
Absolutely. But I still think that Bitcoin could be a good buffer for that, especially if you see what's going on, right? So a lot of people that are low income, and I always say, like, look, even if you can just buy, you think that the Bitcoin price is high right now. Everybody thought that at 10K, everybody thought that at 20K, right? And it's not. And even if you can spend 50 cents a day or $1 a day, something like that, just stack a little bit of these satoshis. I think it's just good to buffer yourself to any volatility in the future. Just like it was always a good idea to hedge yourself with some gold, and if you can manage it, to hedge yourself with real estate, right? But a lot of people cannot, and this is exactly the problem. I think a big problem in our societies in the Western countries for young people to get on the property ladder. So they do not even get to create that buffer. So they need to create it somewhere else, right? They need to create it somewhere else because, or else they're going to be, yeah, falling victim to whatever is happening with governments, right, as a whole. So it was always a good idea to buy gold. So I think it's always a good idea to stack some Bitcoin if you can manage it, even if you can just spend 50 cents a day, right? And then people always ask me, like, how do I do that? Um, just have a wallet, because I know the transaction fees on Bitcoin can be pretty hefty. So maybe look for an exchange that you can go on and buy, against a very low fee and collect some Bitcoin on the regular. And then when you have a little bit of an amount, right, you can then send it to your decentralized wallet and keep it there. Of course, yeah, you do need to note your keys and seed phrases, and always let somebody else know too, so that if something happens to you, you can bless somebody else with it, right? That's all part of your should be your financial hygiene going on there, kicking in. But yeah, Bitcoin. What we see, especially with the miners, that I'm looking at the hash rates a lot, and I'm looking at what these miners are selling to, and they're almost exclusively selling to institutional money right now. In fact, uh, Africa is starting to really up their miners, right? Of course, Argentina was already in the game. They're buying their monthly DCA Bitcoin, and they have been adding to their miners like very quietly in the background over the last years already, right? Trying to because don't forget, there is always wars going on with weapons, but there's always a financial war going on too. And I think we saw that really being pointed out by what happened in China with the terrorists and stuff, right? There is that type of warfare going on too, right? And I think maybe we're better off with having financial warfare than the weapons, right? Even though both can cost people's lives, seriously. So
Mm,
yeah, that is just we got to say it, right? But yeah,
mm,
as far as suffering is concerned. But yeah, we see now Russia, we see Africa adding to miners. I mean, China is a big miner, right? America, United States is adding quietly to their miners too. I pay attention to that because that is the prelude to the chart here. And if we look at that Bitcoin dominance, looks like a honeypot. You can tell that by that being stabilized, that dominance and going up so steadily, that it's kind of telling us that no one is really selling their Bitcoin in large amounts. Also, the dilution of the wallets are going to be spread, so that at one point nobody has the real power anymore to make a difference in the chart, right? To create like a big sell and cascade into a panic sell. And that's just because of the market cap being higher, things will stabilize. And I think at that moment in time, when we have good stability in Bitcoin, I think then a lot of other things will jump in. And I think a lot of other people will be so sensible to jump in that too, because right now it's like volatile, right? So too volatile for people. But I think it's going to take on gold in market cap. And I think it actually can do that to this year, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, Mister, are you holding any Bitcoin?
Yeah, I have a small amount.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you how much, but yes, very sensible. We all should have some of this cake, right? And
mm-hmm.
I think you should tell people, especially the people who are struggling, right? Struggling, and even just a cup of coffee a week could already be helpful here. So, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
DCA is then your way. You go ahead, Mister.
Yeah, I was just going to share that little bit you're talking about really does help. I just finished doing taxes for my son a few months back and just showed him literally 40 bucks out of his paycheck a week
Yeah.
because he's still young, just
Yeah.
not even 30 yet. If he did that every paycheck, by the time he's 65, we were adding it up at a 9%, just whatever the stock market does. You're talking
Yeah.
almost 900,000, almost $1
Yeah.
million dollars.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
A little bit goes a long way, and that's why I always keep saying, just your cup of coffee. Stop buying it at a store. Go make yourself a cup of coffee at home, and whatever you save there, go ahead and hedge yourself. Right. Put something away. Yeah, I of course have my daughter's story, right? That she picked two very bullish crypto, Caspa, which is also proof of work blockchain, and Jasmy, the Japanese token, right? And she DCA'd her pocket money, and she's sitting on $63,000, right?
Yeah. At 13 years old.
Yeah, she did that when she was 12. Yeah, she was 12 and a half when she started DCAing
Yeah.
in. And it took for her to get there was a little over 2 years, 2 years and 2 months. And where can a teenager make that money? Tell me.
Right. That's insane.
Yeah, and that's just a DCA strategy. But a lot of people uh, do not have the patience or the discipline to do this. They don't even have it with their own bank account for just a savings, just in your bank account, save some money. So a lot of people don't get educated this way, maybe from their home or something like that, right? You grow up and living paycheck to paycheck, and you might just take on that behavior with your finance, right? But you should really try it, and don't think in big amounts. Think smaller, right? Think if you think smaller, you're most likely going to succeed better with this because you can keep it up. A lot of people make a mistake. Say, let's say if you make $1,000 a month, just for argument's sake here, right? And you think, yeah, but then I need to do like 100, and so you're gonna get stuck on the 100. But maybe that is not realistic for you. Maybe $10 is more realistic in your position. So you really gotta calculate that and be realistic on what you can keep up over a long period of time, right? So she could pour in all her saving money, all her pocket money that I gave her, and buy it. But I was like, no, you use half, right? To do your DCA, and then because it's not realistic, because you want to buy some things, or spend something on your phone, on an app or something like that, right? And then you're gonna come to me to ask for more money, but in real life we can't do this, right? So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Mister, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I got out of the classroom teaching cybersecurity and things of that nature, and now I'm actually teaching financial literacy because I'm a former Series 7 broker. But that's what I'm doing now. And my son and I, that just graduated high school, we wrote a financial literacy course that's actually going into 26 states here once school starts back up in the United States and the
Whoa.
U.S. So yeah, we're excited about that, and it was coming here from Florida because that's where I'm at. DeSantis, the governor here, when he was stating a few years ago that every student needs to have financial literacy before they graduate. Many states have already taken that on. So I saw that. I read the statute, and it actually said, "Be a good employee and pay your taxes." And I was like, "This is a terrible statute. I'm going to rewrite the whole program, focusing on entrepreneurial stuff, focus on fintech." And so that's what we did, and we used AI to help write it too.
Oh, that is so awesome. Well, you are welcome in my space anytime, because I feel like we're
Yeah.
really vibing out. We are also streaming on YouTube and on X. So we have a lot of people listening in with us that are not in the room with us, right? But people who are more visually inclined, they like to see what we're talking about. And so we pull up Tick here. I'm not, but Tick here, wonderful Tick, is always pulling up the information while we're talking about it, so everybody can follow along visually. But I think that is such a remarkable thing to do. And thank you
Yeah.
for stepping in, right? Stepping in and giving that financial hygiene, because
Well,
that's how I call it, right?
yeah, I did want to invite you to kind of like showcase your project, Real Step NFT. It looks like. Do you want to go ahead and kind of? I pulled it up onto the jumbotron. I don't know if you can see the visual stream of,
Yeah. But
but
before we get there,
go ahead.
I saw that Stylex also has his hands up, so we might have a
Okay.
relevant question to
Yeah,
what we're
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
talking
I
about.
was just gonna share a story on like what not to do and why those small buys and small investments are so important.
Yeah.
So uh, I was over investing in H bar for so long. I was up over $200,000, but I needed that money to live. I was maxed out credit cards. Like my financial hygiene was so bad, and so I took out crypto loans to pay off my cards, and then I get liquidated for almost everything. So it's better to just invest what you can afford to not have to take out, because the only way you lose really is if they take your crypto. So, or you're
Yeah.
forced to
Yeah.
sell because of pressures in your real life. So
Yes.
definitely that management and that hygiene is so important.
Well, and this starts with you, right? So let me just say, I try to touch on that a lot, because this might be behavior not that you display, not just in the financial atmosphere of your life, but in usually any other as well, right? You're triggered by volatility because you are maybe expecting a little bit more drama in your life, because that's simply what you are used to. But I really want you to know that your time on earth here is finite, and you are working hard for money. And if you are just going to take that money and just, without thinking, spending it, even if you're spending it on crypto too much, right? Then you're going to look for trouble this way, because you are looking to overspend then, right? And that's not being respectful to yourself and your time here on earth, right? And especially not if you're doing a job that you do not like, right? That's a different headache. That just, you know, and the issue is, if you have a headache from your job, like you really don't really want to do it, but you kind of got to do it, right? Is that the more you feel that pressure, the more you're going to overspend, because you're going to think that is going to save you from all of that, right? So you're going to think in extremes, you're going to create more drama, more of that drama that you are used to. So I really want you to step into more honoring yourself and your time here, and you worked hard for that dollar or whatever currency you're earning it in, right? And so anything that you spend needs to stand up to scrutiny this way. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
you nailed it there.
Yes, I feel really strongly about that. I try and, especially talk to teens around that, right? Because they're already drama queens on their own in a certain time frame. But yes, as a psychologist, because that's where I come from that corner, right? I really want you to start thinking about it differently. That what you spent needs to be held up to the scrutiny of the time it took you uh, to get it right. And then some things are absolutely not worth it. We don't need more plastic thingies from the dollar store, right? Because you end up going to the counter, you got a lot of stuff you don't need, and you pay $50, but you probably had to work an hour or maybe two to get it, right? So that costs 2 hours of your life. Start thinking about it in this way, and then things will change. things, accountants do this too, right? Accounting students too. They are looking at that stuff very differently. And money saved is money, is money not spent, right? So let's go. Yeah, take it from here. You wanted to touch on some things.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I wanted to invite anyone that wants to come up on stage to shill. Oh, and I was talking to Mr. G about his Real Steps NFT. So I am curious to know what this financial tool um, is. And you were saying this is going to be implemented into 26 states into the public schooling system for high schools. Is that correct?
Not that specifically. We wrote a course that's actually geared for high school students, and I'm told that that ninth grade course we wrote is going to get bumped down to eighth grade. So I'm looking at actually writing four more for students that want to get into financial services. But Real Steps Career and Education was a nonprofit I created as a teacher because I needed funding for my after school program. Not that the nonprofit itself did that, but I was teaching students after school how to do their taxes, how to build a website, how to tie a tie. I mean, just the basic skills that they weren't learning there. So now the Real Steps NFT actually stands for Needed Financial Tools, not non-fungible tokens.
Oh my
And
God.
so and so that's the platform that we're utilizing to create workshops for adults. And so every week I go to different communities and I do workshops for adults. I was just in a retirement one recently that had a bunch of people scammed. So I did one on identity theft and how to make sure you're not scammed and things like that. But just I
Mm-hmm.
love being out there and educating in this financial arena, and so that's what this has done. And just most recently, we started up Gara U. My last name is Gara, and so GU, and it's basically if you don't want to go to college and get a degree there, I can bring you through our financial degree, which is obtaining a life insurance license, a Series 6, a Series 63, a mortgage license, and then a Series 65. Four out of those five, you really have equivalated a 4 year college degree and you didn't have any debt and you're probably earning into that. So that's the new model that I'm looking at.
That is awesome.
Real
I,
quick.
I mean, it looks like it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This could be very much tokenized as well, right?
Yeah. Could
Yeah.
you tell me? I got a question. So this looks like a family thing. Is who? Can you tell me who's alongside you in this project? Because that's an awesome thing.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
I mean, well, when my son graduated high school just a year and a half ago, we were going to start a software company because he's a programmer in C Sharp. He uses the Unity engine. We've put some games onto the App Store just to see what it'd be
Wow.
like. But then a friend of mine came to me because I'm former Series 7. I was a broker back in 1994, and I've never gotten out of the industry. But he said, you need to start a financial business for him. I said, well, why? He goes, there's a wall of wealth coming. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, there's $100 trillion getting ready to pass from generation to generation over the next 25 years. He goes, so
Wow.
that's why you need to be in financial services. I was like, okay. And he's a friend of mine, and he earns about $1.6 million a year in this business. So I took his advice.
Wow. Wow. That is so cool. I love that. You
Yes.
want to tell me about Divide and Conquer? Cert Studio. Am I going down the right rabbit hole, or did I just totally find
Oh,
myself?
no, that's my son Seth, and
Yeah.
he's the gamer. He's
Yeah.
developed many different games you can play online for free. Divide and Conquer was one of them. Uh,
Yeah. Do we
I
still
see
have you here?
tick is now you think it connected. connection issues. The tick is going straight for the gaming.
Oh well, no,
Pretty
well,
Yeah,
that's.
yeah.
serious.
I
Okay.
was looking at the most bullish like graphics, like the most
Oh
eye-catching
yeah.
graphics, and you look at the
Hmm.
Divide and Conquer one, absolutely incredible NFT style graphics on the banner. Then you look at the images of the game, very modern looking weapon models and skins, very top quality stuff. This isn't something that someone was messing around with like a coding app for a couple days and just threw some like crap
No,
together
you
and
can
called it a game.
tell.
This is an
Yeah.
actual, yeah. So I
If you're
love,
looking on
yeah,
the live stream right now, it's showing, right? So,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, very much thank you for coming, Mister. You're always
Mm-hmm.
welcome in our spaces, and we love to give a platform to especially good projects and good things like that, even crypto related or not, right? If it's good advice, it's good advice. Let's go. So we do that live stream on X as well as on YouTube. But what we also do, if we have some time for it, we would love to have you back and then talk about it so we can actually cut up and make some shorts because we do also blast it on TikTok, Instagram, and on the YouTube shorts as well, just to get more education out there and have more reach than just sitting in these spaces, right? So just to go more multi-platform with these things because it's very important. Financial health is very important.
Yes, it's
Opportunities in the
huge.
financial world are going to be huge. I foresee that also very much career paths in crypto this way, other than developing, right?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you do not even need to buy the crypto, but you can just like when the gold rush happened, you can also sell the shuffle,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and that is a lot what these financial
Well, he's
things are
teaching
about.
people what to do with the gold. After they,
Yeah, yeah.
essentially that's what it comes
Yeah,
down to.
but even if he doesn't hold the gold,
Right.
he can still sell the shuffle and make a good amount of it. You don't always need to hold crypto in order to be a part of it for the ecosystem. I like the girl that I talked to 2 3 years ago, and then opening an Etsy shop selling Bitcoin tea. Right, she never
Mm-hmm.
owned any Bitcoin, but she jumped in on people that would like an accessory for Bitcoin, and she was like, "Yeah, I like to make tea, so I'm going to sell Bitcoin tea." Right? And XRP tea bags and stuff, and that she was selling out, right? So that's an example of selling shuffles too, right? Being a part of
Ooh, I
opening that
gotta.
saloon in the boomtown.
Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Style X, are you still with us? I was just thinking we gotta style Mr. G's PFP. Because he
Yes,
has a selfie. So,
yes.
I'm thinking, I'm like, what would be a good one to do?
Do it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask which one are you thinking. I don't think we
W-
want to hit him with the Diddy party.
Yeah, no, no, no. I want to hit him with something good.
Like the gem one's the coolest. I think the gem
The
one's amazing.
Yeah, the gem one is cool. I mean, the fourth
Um,
one would looks good with like real people, but the thing is
yeah.
the fourth is already passed.
Mister is gonna give you guys some input because he has his hand up.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I was just gonna say that is me, but it's actually one of my AIs because in our course, I realized as an educator, I didn't want to always be speaking, so I have AIs that are actually, narrating the course and lecturing for it. But yeah, okay,
I
and I have a few others of me in different NFT versions if you wanted to see.
Very sick. Yes, I did one in gold. So gold is a good one. And then there's another one too that I was thinking would work good. It's not candy is pretty good.
So
Uh,
so listen, let's tell Mr. G then what this is about. So Stylex is a token on Solana, and it has this AI generator that we can do in the comments on X and change your profile picture into certain things, right? So it has that utility, so you can go on X and just surprise everybody with a redo. Yeah, it's great. So that's what they're gonna try and do with your
Yeah,
PFP.
it works very quick too.
Yeah.
I've shown a few people how it works like in real life. I'll be like, watch this, and then I'll like do the tag like right in front of them, and then like we'll wait like a minute, and then I'll go on their profile, and then I'm like look, and they're like holy, they're like it did it that quick. They're like blown away because even a person with Photoshop wouldn't be able to execute it that quickly, and we're doing it by tagging the photo. It's insane
Yeah,
how
it runs every 2 minutes, so it can feel like a long time if you do it at like the top of the 2 minute mark right after it runs. But
wow.
it's generally like 20 to 30 seconds if you hit it like right before.
Yeah, it's great.
What's
Look,
another style? I did.
technology doesn't stand for nothing. AI is going to be a part of that future too, and a lot of people I know are not too happy with it. But I think especially if you want to stay in the game, you got to always adapt a little bit and just get yourself, uh, over the hump and start using it, exploring at least, right?
Alex, what's the chef one? What's the hashtag for the cook, for the chef?
It's just chef. Here, I'll do that one right
Okay.
now.
Oh, I was gonna. All right, I just typed it out. I just wanted to make sure I had the hashtag correct. All right, let's see
Oh,
if
it
any of
works.
these did any of them crank out yet. Let's see. I did a few while I was in the space too. I did a couple for where is he still in here? I think he may have left. He said he needed to hop out, but his name was KVNO. He had the little robot, the Sui robot NFT. But let's see here. Ooh, there we go. We got the gold one, dude. The gold one looks freaking. Mr. G, did you see this? That's so good because I thought for the financial thing, since you're an expert in finance, that the gold one would be suitable. He's speechless. He has no words.
Oh, you get the Mog America. The Mog America is wicked funny.
I love the Mog
It's
America one.
American flag pit vipers with an American flag chain.
Let's go.
I can't wait to see it. Let's see
Well,
it.
well, we wait for that to show up. I do want to point out that Keone Han actually just posted, and he is the general manager over at Monad blockchain, right, which is right now still in testnet. But hey, Guru, there is one of their utility, their liquidity utility, is hiring. And they are looking for a Solidity developer with deep DeFi knowledge, a mobile developer, and of course, these are the guys from Quant, right? So, yeah, just if it's you, right, go there, and might be a job. Let's go.
Very cool.
Yeah. And
Let's.
also, don't forget to be a part of that testnet, right? Faucet these monads. Go to Monad XYZ. Do your fauceting. Start making paper trades on Monad. There will be possible airdrop rewards for people who do so, but also you get to move early on a a layer one blockchain that is going to be a really, really a bullish run, right? A really one with excellent technology there. So just keep an eye on that one. Let's go, Tick.
Very cool. Sorry, I was looking at something with Fartcoin because Fartcoin on Sui has been freaking. It's running. Did you
Is it
notice?
ripping? Are we
It's
buying a
it,
fart?
it looks like it. Let me double check if because it when it left. It was so high that I was no longer in range anymore for my turbos thing. So I had to I guess I started a new
That
liquidity
is
pool.
crazy.
Yeah.
I got a position there like $30,000 market cap. So
Yeah.
low.
So I'm wondering where's it at right now? Let's see. Skip. So is
I
it?
don't know. Oh
Oh, is
wow.
it 48? Am I looking at the right thing?
It's 111.
Okay.
Yep. At 111K market cap now. Yep. Fartcoin on Sui. These are the meme tokens there. If you're interested in any of that, right? But very low cap, very high risk. So you guys got to really think about it, right? Put it on your watch list if you don't, just see how it moves, right? Yeah. Let's go. Did we have that makeover of the PFP yet? Coming
Yes.
in?
They a
Let's
couple of
show
them
it.
came through. Yeah. So we had. Let me. Yeah. So we had the gold one, the Mogmerica one. Ooh, this one looks good. The Ice Swift chain. Yeah. So we have three. Yeah, we got three of them that came through. They look pretty good. The Mr. G 3234 handle around his neck on the pendant for his ice chain. Ooh, and then the chef one. Ooh, the chef is sick too. Yo, Mr. G, do you see these? Are you liking this?
Yeah, these are coming out crazy.
They're
So
amazing.
Yeah.
I already changed mine to the gold one. You probably can't see it unless you refresh.
Yeah,
Did you see the
that's
one with the Mr. G chain?
Yeah,
the,
those
I've
are
never
awesome
seen it
looking.
make the whole person diamond before. That was
yeah,
crazy.
the fact that it's all diamond. Ooh, you might want to do that one. But the pit vipers might not be your style so much,
Yeah.
Mr. G. But
Mr. G's looking
You're
very
not down with
rich
the
with the gold
mug?
one.
the gold one is classy, man. It looks really classy. And like sometimes AI will kind of like fudge up like the person's face or whatever. There'll be like some hallucination, like distortions that make it kind of look wonky. But dude, it actually made you look really. I got a stunning photo right here. It's pretty good.
So if people are not looking at the live stream, Dick, where can we look up, right? Because we're kind of then talking, but everybody in this space might not be having the visual. So where can they go to check it
Oh
out? Can you
well,
can you
one
pin
of
it?
the
Can you pin it?
yeah. Well, these are yeah. That's a good one. I'm gonna pin. Let me see. Sure. I'll pin it the
Yes.
gold one to the jumbo. But these are all visible under the StyleX handle. So the handle is at StyleX PFP. And so you go there on Twitter and you can see all of the creations that people have generated by tagging others.
Yeah, if you're on desktop and you click the media tab on my profile is the best way to really like see all the artwork.
All right, but can you guys pin that up in the jumbotron so people
Yeah,
here
yeah.
has
So,
fast access to it?
sorry, I was
Thank you.
having trouble with the
Yeah.
finding the. Let me see. How do I do this? It's like commenting, yeah, pinning to the jumbo sometimes is hard because I use two different browsers.
Yeah, you
So
did just do that. Let me see.
Here, I
It's
got him.
yeah,
I
sorry.
just pinned two of them.
all right, or else I was gonna look on Stylex's X account to find
Sorry,
it.
it's kind of hard to access them from the Stylex account.
Oh, look at this one. Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. Awesome, Mr. G, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Hey, these are so amazing. I wanted to say thank you. I came in here just to make some conversation, meet some new people, and you guys are gifting me stuff. So thank you so much. I just have to get ready for a 3 o'clock meeting I'm getting ready to go into.
Yes.
But definitely I'm following you guys and I'll be back in some other spaces. So hit me up whenever you want.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're always here every day at around the same time, right? And we are gonna close up shop as well. So, guys, follow Mr. G right here for the alpha, right? That he brought us. Thank you so much for coming along. I love when people. You never know who you're meeting in these spaces. You always gotta
Yeah,
keep an open mind, right? And
yeah.
stay in a dialogue. Yeah,
That is
absolutely.
so cool. Yeah, I do want to thank you once again for coming on here and bringing this to us because honestly, the world needs more of this. Financial education is so important and literacy in that area, and the blockchain is the future, and so I really hats off to anyone that's really trying to promote this and get more people involved into understanding how saving and investing and all these things work. So thank you. I think that you're doing something great for the world, and that's and also just as like a career opportunity as well. You telling the story about how your friend kind of introduced you to this. You saw, he let you know that there's $100 trillion coming in the next 25 years to the next generation, and this kind of like lit a fire inside of you and made you passionate about, okay, I need to educate people about this because there's incentive for you to do so as well, and kind of taking that lesson and moving forward. That's awesome and very valuable. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
absolutely. So without getting into any conspiracy tinfoil things here, I think it is important when you know that a lot of money is flooding in, and how do regular people now make it better for themselves? So it's very. I don't think people underestimate that the you want to keep a close gap between the haves and have-nots, because if that division is going to expand, so there's going to be bigger difference between the have and have-nots. That's when you get trouble in the country, right? That's when you get factions that are going to be very much in extremes and opposite directions. And so governments should always pay attention, and I know that they are to some extent, into keeping that gap uh, closer together, right? For us, and so, but education is kind of on the forefront with this. Where do we start? We start with children, and so yeah, very important there, right? Because also not just for your own financial health, but it does have just overall us as countries and us as parts of the world, as a whole, it does have consequence that are also related to war and things in the country that you do not want, right? And that has to do with that relative poverty gap, uh, very much, because if there's a big gap between the have and have nots, that's when we really get in trouble, broadly. And so, it's very good to have that people be a part, come to awareness and be a part of the financial um, in the world. And even if that is limited to their own financial, managing their own financial health better, right? Yes. Yes, I'm for it. You guys also, yeah, follow Mr. G. And you know what? Follow, if you're here in this space, follow everybody to the left and to the right, right? I mean, we're all friends here. And let's go ahead and do this outro for us, Tick. I'm gonna.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I do have a new one.
Oh,
Here, let's do. I got a new one. It'll take 2 seconds. Let me send it
did you
over.
send it to me?
I haven't yet. Give me two
Send
seconds.
it.
I'll send you the thing right
Yeah.
over. It's not the greatest, but it's short and sweet. So let's
Let's
see.
hear it.
It's
I'm
called
curious.
I called it "Sell the News" is the name of it. So let me see.
Sell the news. I think
Yes.
that's a great. That's a great title. I'm gonna
Okay.
listen to the new
Here we
release
go.
of Tick right here.
All
It's
right.
gonna
Here we
be
go. So
sell the news.
okay. Here
Send
we
it
go.
over in Telegram.
Here we go. I already got the link. Here we go. There we go. Cool.
Yes.
Or I could even send you the MP3 as
No, it's
well.
okay. I can do it like this.
Cool.
It sounds horrible when it comes from you. It's because you have the live stream open, so you get a lot of echo going on
Yeah.
and a lot of cutting out
Uh,
because of the.
let's see some hearts
All right.
in the
Yes, I'm
audience if
gonna
you
play
guys
it
are
right
feeling
now.
this.
I'm gonna play it right now and get my sound up here. Let's
It's
go.
got an
Here we
old
go.
school hip hop type of
Sell the
vibe.
news.
Yeah, here we go.
It's coming. Whenever you're ready, laptop. There we go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see some
Hey yo,
emojis.
they saw me coming through, trying to sell the news. Once again, but I'm true, no joke. It's a dream, scream the meme coins for the dudes. See the chart is ripping. Once again, another day moving sideways. This is what we do, and it's never gonna change. We stacking lots of money, gonna make it rain. You just sold for a loss, like you trade without a brain.
Yes, I love it, Tick. I love the last line. You sold for a loss, like you trade without a brain.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the jam right there. That's alpha. But
Yeah,
yes,
that's the alpha. I'm telling you, that is what's about. Yes, you guys. What are you playing there in the background?
me.
Though, yeah.
Oh, that's it's not me. Sorry, it's just TV in the background.
Oh, that's what was been in
Yeah,
the
sorry
background.
about that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah. I still want to play What's the Ticker just because.
Yes, yeah, we can't go without. I just wanted to show you that. I used that song actually for a little promo
Mhm.
video that I made for What's the Ticker? Just like a little,
Yeah.
I like to make little
Oh,
like
awesome.
things eye-catching.
You are so good and so creative with that. I love it. I just it's not my forte, but I'm glad to have you with me then on stage. Let's go.
Absolutely, yes.
Very thankful for meeting you. Let's go. There you go. Let's pause this and then because if we do the outro or if we
Yeah,
saying goodbye without playing
we
What's
gotta
a
do,
Ticker,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's our
It doesn't feel
staple.
it fits. Yeah.
There
Let's
we go,
go.
let's go. What's the ticker?
What's the ticker? Yeah.
What's
What's
the
the ticker?
ticker?
Where's
Where's
it
it
at?
at?
What is the ticker? Where's it at? I got crypto in the bag, send the CA in the chat. Gonna ape another fact. Got a runner on the map, so line of sniping like a gat. And the SOE is moving quickly. I'm the squeezing where they at. I'm trying to bring them influence back. 1,000x is gonna land. I got it chilling in the back, and the gas fees are gonna slap. Where's the ticker? Where's it at?
Yeah, so I kind of said it before. Thank you all for coming on the live streams and on X and here in the room with us, right? We're back again tomorrow, same time, same space. Tick.
Stay bullish, my friends. Let's go.
Let's go. Bitcoin is going to pump, by the way. Just watch it happen.